Maharaj, before coming to Krishna consciousness, there is a lot of conditioning, attachment to some materialistic activities, some attachments, sinful activities, which we are accustomed or conditioned to. And that is the biggest obstacle after coming to Krishna consciousness, that particular sinful activity to which one is addicted to keeps trying to attract our attention, and it distracts one in the path of devotional service. So how to resist such activities which were previously conditioned to after coming to Krishna consciousness, so that we don't go back to that? Because always there is a thought that I can go back to that, because there is a liking, there is a strong liking in our heart to that particular sinful activity. So there is always a thought that I may go back to that. So that liking, unless it goes, it's not possible to get attracted to Krishna wholeheartedly.
Does anyone else have this problem from time to time? You are not alone, Prabhu. Since time immemorial, we have conditioned ourselves to misconceptions. Srimad Bhagavat teaches that the origin of all misconceptions is janasya moho yamaham mameti. That we are thinking, I am this body, and all things in relation to this body are mine to enjoy. But actually I am the spirit soul, and what is really mine is the opportunity to serve and to love. That is the constitutional nature of the soul. But when we fall into this misconception, then we act to serve rather the soul's need of serving God. We serve our own ego. And whatever we do, there's a karmic reaction. Karma is very gross and very subtle. Everything you do, everything you say, not only will you get a physical, mental, and emotional reaction to whatever activities are performed, but everything you say and do conditions your consciousness to be attached more and more and more in that way. We condition our consciousness to have a deeper proclivity or inclination to that type of thought, word, and activity with everything we do. So our whole life we are just conditioning ourselves. And what are we today? We are the conglomerated sum total of all the conditionings that we have put upon ourselves throughout this life and so many countless previous lives. Welcome to the material world. So we have so many desires, we don't want them. We have so many attachments. And even when we take to a path of pure spiritual life, we have noble aspirations, but still all of our conditionings, like ghosts, are just lurking within our minds, ready to haunt us. Have any of you ever had this experience before? The mind is filled with the sum total of all of our impressions, attachments, and desires from all our previous lives. If you could see them all at once, you would probably die. But a few desires come up at a time. Just like the ocean. How many fish are in the ocean? Countless! Every now and then you see one jump up. Ah, there is a fish. But that's just one jumping up. So similarly, within our subconsciousness, there are millions and billions and trillions and quadrillions of desires and attachments. The reactions of everything we've ever said and done and all the inclinations created by that are in our subconsciousness. That's the mind. And every now and then one comes to the surface. So we have these conditionings. The solution is to recondition ourselves. We have cultivated selfishness, all sorts of desires for acquisition and enjoyment. The process of sanatana dharma is to recondition our mind, senses, and life to purity, to humility, to selfless service. And when we engage in devotion to God, the power of God's mercy upon us when we act in His service is so great that in a relatively short period of time, it literally vanquishes, purifies all of that conditioning within. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya prayed, Cheto Darapana Marajanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. When water falls from the sky, it enters onto the ground and becomes filled with mud. How many particles of mud is there in a pool of muddy water? But when you filter it, you bring the consciousness back to its original natural state without all these conditioned attachments and desires. We must filter our mind to bring it back to its natural, pristine, and pure glory. And two things are required to purify the mind. One is filtration, and the other is to stop pouring junk in it. Yes? If you want to filter water, even if you have the best filter, if you keep throwing pollutants and mud in it, where are you going to go? Dhani saravani samyamya yukta asita matpara vasehi asyandriyani tasya pragya pratishtata. Therefore, we must follow these regulative principles. The great acharyas have taught us these four regulative principles are very, very important. No illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, meat eating. These four activities just pour so much dirt into our minds. They addict us so much to the materialistic conception of life. They condition us with such not only sinful reactions externally, but such strong inclinations toward materialism. And on a subtler level, we want to live respectful, with humility, and with a real service attitude. If you want to give up something negative, you have to replace it with a positive alternative. It's very, very difficult for anyone to stop something that they're habituated to do. But it becomes relatively easy if we engage our mind and our senses, our life's energy, in something positive. It is said the idle mind is the devil's workshop. Have you heard this? So we want to give up, or let us say we want to eliminate the negative through the process of replacing it with positive. Some spiritual paths, their goal is simply neti, 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 neti. Not this, not this, not this, and not that. Just eliminate all these negative thoughts, eliminate all these negative words, and all these negative actions. And ultimately, no thought, no word, no action. But who could do that? Who really wants to do that? Anandamayo vyashat, the soul is pleasure seeking. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does not tell Arjuna, go to the forest and do nothing, say nothing, and speak nothing. You act, but act with nobility. Act with integrity. Act with devotion to me. Yes, you speak, but don't speak all nonsense things that are just going to incriminate you in more illusion. Speak those things that are beneficial to you and beneficial to others. And act and think in such a way that you're not occupying your minds with just fascinations and meditations on various sensual objects. Replace those thoughts with thoughts of me. So if we want to live a pure life, we have to substitute the negative with the positive. Just like people like entertainment. And you people tonight are coming to hear from Bhagavad Gita. So you want to do something. You want some form of entertainment. You have choice. Those who have come tonight are looking for entertainment in something very positive, something very purifying, something very spiritual. And those who go to other forms of entertainment are just perpetuating the same old consciousness. So that is how we stop throwing more pollutions into the muddy water. And the simplest, most effective way of purifying the water is by fixing the consciousness on God. In the age of Kali, the most highly recommended process of bringing the consciousness back to its pure natural state is remembering the Supreme by chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So do not be alarmed. Do not be surprised that you have all these conditioned desires. We must know scientifically how to purify them and how to transform those desires into the highest virtues.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on devotionalnectar.com.